Okay, I think I'm good to go now, and I'm kinda back at least in some way for this, let's say 1 week later in the US rambling. It's my first time in the US, and it will definitely turn out as a rambling because there's so much I want to talk about. Also, things that I've already mentioned in my last update video, thinking about how the channel will progress and so on. And in case you're wondering about the video quality, since I did bring my laptop but without any software to edit something, because I did not want to get tempted at all, and I didn't bring any camera, this is all that you'll get. And no, this is not the OnePlus 6, this is not the Xiaomi Mi 8 or something like that, this is still my 5T with the front facing cam, that's why I'm also a little bit closer just so the sound isn't too bad. But this is the best lit situation I can get in my hotel, which is actually my second one. And yeah, I'm gonna get into that also a little bit later, but to cover a few things first. OnePlus 6 review, will it be coming? Yes, at some point, even though way too late. And sorry if I'll be looking more like this sometimes because I'm just not used to looking into the front facing cam, also because there is the window and it's a little bit distracting. But it's fine, it's a rambling, everything goes. So, OnePlus 6, I've heard a few people, at least one by now, thanks to, oh, sorry, I completely blanked on the name. Tobias Dahlberg, I think, if I didn't get that wrong right now. He got his, so I hope I got mine now as well, even though I can't check it because, yeah, what I did is I asked my father, or I will ask him so he can check maybe tomorrow on Monday, if it arrived maybe with the DHL or maybe my neighbors picked it up so he can get it. And yeah, I'm not quite sure about that yet because if it came with UPS or with Hermes or something like that, then I'm not quite sure how I will get it until they maybe actually return it. So that would be the worst case scenario. So best case scenario, it either got dropped off my doorsteps and my neighbors took it, or it got with DHL because there my father can pick it up. About the Mi 8 from Xiaomi, I requested one from GearBest, but I don't think I will get one from them because I made no money in terms of affiliate links for like 2 months by now, like maybe $300 $500 a month. That's like nothing. They expect like multiple thousands. So if that doesn't work out, which would be the best case scenario for me, because then I would get a free Mi 8, then I just get a loaner from straight in Shenzhen. But I'm not quite sure if all of that will happen still in the US because I don't want to get it shipped and maybe it turns up here after I'm gone. But usually it takes like 5 days and then I'm still here because I'm still here for about 3 weeks. But to get all of that out of the way, no, let's cover the first thing about the channel first and then I'll talk about the US, my first time here. So about the channel, some of you maybe know that I wasn't quite sure how I want to go forward with this channel in terms of reading the comments and so because of the negativity. So my plan, if I could do that, but I know it's not the best one, would be just to not read the comments at all. And especially the last week, I didn't really read many of them. I just flew over them like a couple of times over the day. But still, if I see something negative, especially now, and it's not a vacation, just to cover this up, this is not a vacation. I'm here for a work-related trip, but obviously I have free time. This is actually the right way. And I want to get as much possible done as see the country and so on. So I will definitely comment or reply on less comments just because I don't like the negativity, especially the last kind of reviews, the last recent ones were about the Asus Zenfone 5, the US or the international crowd did not like my opinion on it. I still don't think it's a great phone. I have a lot of trouble with it here because I gave it to my brother. He likes it a lot, so that's the good part. But he does not really do anything with his phone, so I don't think that actually matters. And then, what else? Yeah, so I will definitely comment less, but I definitely read still some of them, some piss me off. So let's get that out of the way. So let's start with actually the start of my trip to the US. It started a little bit rough because I'm actually traveling with my brother because my brother works in the same company and we both got the chance to go to the US. Perfect scenario because I'm with someone I'm kind of used to. And he actually didn't get his ESTA. For all those who don't know, it's kind of like the visa, so you can travel into the. Something went wrong, but we got that figured out. Then we went on the flight to Atlanta, which took about a little bit over 10 hours. Everything went fine there. And we should have then had a layover in Atlanta that should have taken like 1.5 hours, which turned out almost 4 hours because of the rain. Even though the good thing is we haven't had any rain here yet, but in Atlanta there was rain. So the whole trip from the moment then I woke up on Friday, June 1st, it took 20 hours to arrive in the hotel. where I stayed for the first week. It wasn't a very expensive one because after all travel expenses they don't want to pay so much. It was quite a cheaper, but I don't know. There are so many things in the US that is so weird. So let's talk about the hotel first. I can only judge the situation here in that from hotels. The weird thing is, first of all doors open for Europeans in the wrong way because we have to pull instead of push. That's a weird thing, and the doors are weird, especially the room doors. They have like a gap of a centimeter. For all those who don't know what that is, in the US, it's like a little bit less than half an inch. So you hear pretty much everything that goes outside in the hallway. So doors are weird. They also, the knob goes in the wrong way if you turn the key. That's a small thing, but I don't want to complain. These are just things that I observe as differences. I'm not saying that it's bad or worse. This is just something you have to get used to. Obviously, if you live here, you know, the doors open in the different way, and the gap is weird. You just get so much more noise from the outside. And then, for example, okay, that is definitely a hotel thing. We had a small fridge, or everyone, because 2 separate rooms. The fridge are so freaking loud, and the new one here I actually had to turn it off for the video because it turns on like every 10 minutes and then stays on for 20 minutes, and it's super annoying. The beds though completely different, way thicker, way higher. They are very comfortable though. The thing that I've noticed is though how they kind of spread their sheets because they tuck them in under the mattress, and I can't sleep like that. So every time I wake up the way I want to sleep, the bed looks like a mess. But that's that. The next big thing to talk about in the US is how big it is, because the town that I'm staying in is actually very small, at least from what I got in terms of people that live here from Google, but it does not fit because this is supposed to be a small town and yet everything seems super huge, not just the crossings or the streets in general, everything. For example, there was a 24-hour supermarket across the hotel. The parking space is like insanely huge, and that's like for every store. So also things like what I've actually noticed though, this is the weird thing, if I would live here, getting used to the prices. Some things are a little bit cheaper than in Germany, but so many things are so weirdly overpriced. Like for example, just a paper towel roll or toilet paper is priced insanely high, and many other things. Okay, what I actually did not know is because I never really checked it much before because I had no need to, but from what I got, I did some Google research afterwards. It seems like in the US you earn on average obviously like 8, 10, 12% more than in Germany, and the living costs are like 8% less, so you should be better off. But the differences between different states and all of kind of these very much, and I've seen, for example, New York is crazy expensive, like almost twice the price than here in Kentucky, where I am right now, and Ohio is expensive, and Florida, and all of these are so much more expensive. But it is, even though you actually earn more, things are noticeably weirdly more expensive. For example, fast food. Since I now actually have a kitchen, but I didn't have for the first week, I had to kind of eat in fast food restaurants and so on, where I actually wasn't all that impressed by, because first of all, prices are noticeably higher. For example, Five Guys, a burger like $8. That's a lot. That's, you can get a whole menu in Germany for that price. And I have to say though, let's actually go through the restaurants that I was already in. So Five Guys was pretty much the first one. I was also in Taco Bell. Weird. Nothing against handicapped people, but maybe you shouldn't put person in front of the counter that takes your order that can't speak properly and can't understand you properly, because what my brother ordered he did not get, and we didn't want to make too much of a fuss. I was actually a little bit embarrassed because my brother was a little bit annoyed because he got so much things wrong, but you couldn't understand her, and what he told her she didn't get. And the problem was the order was what was on the receipt. That is what else he got, but that was not what he ordered, so it was a little bit of a mess. The food was, I found it fine, nothing amazing though. I have to say Five Guys was a really delicious burger, but expensive for what it is. Then we were also in Steak and Shake, but I just took the small, cheaper burgers. Potential, but some things were, and it was cold for some reason, but yeah. Then I have to say Papa John's. Wow, that was most probably, and I took the one with the with the pan pie, so the thicker crust, delicious. I made a mistake in terms of the topping because I took onions, which was not a good decision. But the pie was amazing, and the cheese. Just for the cheese, I have to at least get it once or two times more. Even though I wanted to try as many as possible, which is not possible anyways, because if I would eat for the 30 days that I'm here every day in a different restaurant, I would not be able to get even a third of them. So I think I would need to eat even more. So that I'm not quite sure if I gained some pounds yet, but I think so. I should, because all I do is eat fast food, and the food here is weird different because there is no proper bread. All you get is the super soft, or a little bit too sweet actually, white bread that kind of toast is in Germany. It tastes great, yeah, but I think the carbon, what is it? The carbs, yeah, are a little bit too much, but yeah. Papa John's, the cheese was amazing also at the rest, so I definitely have to get that. I also got Pizza Hut yesterday. I wanted to check it. The sauce wasn't all that great, but otherwise it was great, and it was way cheaper because the Papa John's, the big one, 12 inches, costed like, I think, almost $20, where I paid only like $9 for the Pizza Hut. But I would actually pay twice as much for the Papa John's just because of that taste. It was way better. White Castle, I have to say, White Castle was amazing. And yeah, I know I'm talking about food. I will get to some rest otherwise elsewhere, but that's something that I just noticed. What the F was that? Okay, White Castle. I really like those burgers. Super small, but everything was fine. So yeah, I like that one. I think I will get there as well. Then where was I as well? I was at Skyline Chili. That's one thing that I'm never gonna do any again, because what we know in Germany as chili con carne, or chili, the Mexican chili with beans, with beef, with paprika, chili, and so on. What you eat out of a bowl with bread as kind of more of a soup or something like that is not what you get here, because here you get it with spaghetti, for example, and a lot of cheese, a ton of cheese, and it does taste so weird because the consistency is completely different. The taste was completely tasteless. Okay, that could be different from store to store, but no, I did not like that at all. And this is not what I want, because this is more like something I would see in Germany or around the world as kind of spaghetti bolognese. So beef sauce along with spaghetti. That's not. So I definitely don't think I will check more of these. But other than that, yeah, let's not talk about too much about the food. Let's talk about some other things. First of all, I had to check some more because I still had to get a few things in supermarkets to get here stuff to get around for the month. I've talked already about the things that are more expensive, but things are so huge. And the great thing is about the area where I'm at right now, there are so many shops, and I can pretty much fall down and not land in a store. I actually think this is a little bit of an anomaly here. Because, for example, no matter which kind of restaurant I would like to go to, I don't have to usually drive more than 1 mile or 2 miles. So Pizza Hut with 2.5 miles yesterday was already a lot farther away. Usually it's like I could walk to most of them if the streets wouldn't be that busy and big. Actually not busy, but big, and it's not always possible to cross it, which is also a weird thing about the lighting system. I'm not quite sure how that's actually in German. So the Ampeln, no, that's the wrong thing. So the lights that show you if you can drive. They kind of just hang on this kind of chain or whatever it is. And if there is a strong wind, sorry for the throat, I did not have that before. Yeah, so I said it would be a rambling, so it is. And it's a little bit of a weird one, but that's usually the thing, so you can always just drop off. No, so the weird thing is if you want to press the button, so the lighting answer, so you can cross the path, is not like usually in Germany in front of the sidewalk. It's kind of behind, because they're all on these poles that are anyway there, and then you have to press the button, so you kind of have to walk like 3 feet into the grass so you can touch it. Usually there's a small way, but it's weird. Yeah, streets, most of what I've seen in the States and so on, 3 or 4 lanes. I have to say that I like the traffic system here, because in Germany, for example, the right lane is always the slow lane, the mid lane is the middle lane, and the left one is the fastest lane. But here, it doesn't matter. No matter on which lane you are, you can pass people on either one, or you can get passed on either one. So the good thing is, since I'm not quite sure where I should be on the street, because of, even though I have Google Maps that works mostly brilliant, the only thing where Google Maps struggles a little bit if I turn it on right immediately, because before it gets the GPS signal. But other than that, does a great job. Without it, I would have been completely lost. And it works great with the voice input. Even though the weird thing is, sometimes I notice when I turn on Google Maps and I hit the microphone button to say something, since I've set the system now to English, so I can get the GPS navigation in English, so it gets the language and the words better in terms of German, because the sounds are. There is still something, because I have my Google search still in German, and then I ask for a destination, but underneath Google search actually answers and says it has no clue, because it thought I actually asked a question and did not ask for navigation. So there's something weird in this app sometimes, but it's usually only the first time. But I have to say, traffic works out fine. I was once in a traffic jam, a little bit of a smaller one, but usually everyone seems to be quite nice. You have a lot of space. It's way easier to get past. Okay, you have everything is slower generally, because the highest speed that I've used, for example, I was on one at 70 miles. It's slower than we are usually used to in Germany, but it's fine. Everything feels more chilled. I have to actually say that I like that. And for example, there was one commenter, or I don't know where it was posted, that said, don't get kind of fooled by the faked politeness or the nice people here in the US. And I can only judge based on what I've experienced so far in the week, but I have to say, people genuinely seem so much nicer, so much more polite, so much easier going than especially in Germany, because in Germany we are very stuck up. And for example, yesterday when I went out of Pizza Hut, I had the box in my hands and I couldn't maybe get the door, but before that actually there was a person already opening me the door, and I said thank you, and she said, well, you're welcome. I've not ever seen something happen like that in Germany. Okay, mostly our doors open automatically, but on smaller stores they don't do that, and I've never seen someone. And so many times, if I, for example, I was checking shoes because I needed a new pair, and there was a woman with her child crossing my path, even though I was actually the one that got more like in her, and she said excuse me and such and so on, and since I'm used to, from what I've seen in Germany, I did not even see this as a thing that you would have to be excusing yourself for, because she just walked past me. She didn't kind of stumble into me. We had no contact, and there was enough space. But I've seen it so many times. If someone just gets a little bit closer to you, if it just passes your way or something, it's excuse me. Or, okay, you all know the phrase, for example, what you usually get greeted in the mornings or every day. Usually it's how high are you, and they actually don't even expect an answer. But it seems fine. And for example, also the people that I work with, it's a super small actually department, because the whole department is of 4 people that work. So with me and my brother, we're actually 50% more now, and those guys, they were welcome to us so nicely. For example, the 2 main guys that I have contact with, super nice guys, really, I have to say that. And we talked already a lot about things that I need to know, things that, for example, one is a super kind of a gun geek nerd, I don't know, but he has I think 100 guns. Okay, he said he collected those over the past 35 years, also on flea markets and such, and he invited me actually already a few times, for example, but since I had so much to do, I just didn't get to it. But maybe, for example, the next weekend on a gun range to shoot some guns and so on. I think that's cool. And for example, also the chef of the department, or the boss, also invited us on a late dinner on what was it called? Dave Buster's. So that's kind of an eating restaurant where you can also play arcade games and such and have fun. I couldn't attend that because I wanted to go to Louisville, because like I said, the problem is I want to see so much, because pretty much every day besides of I think one, because I needed a little bit recharge time, I was somewhere. For example, first 2 days, I think Cincinnati, I drove 2 times to Louisville. I was in the science center, which was a complete joke, but I'll maybe get to that. And the plan was actually yesterday to go to Chicago, 6-hour drive it would have been. But since I was in Louisville the day before, and we came home at like midnight, and we wanted to actually go very early on to Chicago. We wanted to drive like 4 hours wouldn't have been enough to recharge my battery. So I said that next Saturday when we go, I'm just not gonna do anything on Friday, so I'm fit. So that didn't work out, but let's actually talk about a little bit about the Louisville Science Center. That was more of a child science center, and if I would have known it, I didn't do my research properly, because when I saw science, I thought like modern science and some cool things, but it was mostly very for children. So, and in case you actually wanna see some more what I do, I post quite some pictures already on Instagram. Not really too much, because well, I have to actually, let's talk about one thing. The big difference between the upper end people and the lower end people. I'm not quite sure how I should post this, but when I drove through Louisville and I was low on gas, and I've checked for a gas station, even though there were many, I wanted to check one specific one, and also maybe see a little bit something, drive through the town and see something, but we mostly drove through downtown, and I have to say, wow. You enter an area early on where things look still fine, and then you just cross a kind of invisible line, and then you are in the poor section. A lot more black people, not racist or anything like, but it was just a thing. A lot more broken up, old, shredded houses, and it looked so much poorer. And I therefore didn't want to stop for gas there, because those regions looked a little bit intimidating. Actually, intimidating was the first thing what I noticed when I was in Cincinnati. We came into the town, and if you are, because of those wide streets, the wide sidewalks, and the big buildings, you feel so small. And for the first half an hour I was so intimidated, but in a good way, in a cool way. After a while, obviously, you get used to that, and for example, Louisville didn't seem as intimidating at all anymore. But Louisville, I have to say, the part where we drove through was very, very, yeah. Otherwise, like I said, the plan is still to go to Chicago. I'm not quite sure, because I would like to maybe fly maybe to New York or something like that, but I'm not quite sure, because it's still, after all, quite expensive, and it's not a whole lot of time, but I'll see what I can do. But since I'm kind of a reviewer in heart, I pretty much judge everything, and I have to say, if I would actually sum it up, it was a cultural shock for me being here for the first time, because so many things are different. The simple things like the toilets are different, the streets, the houses, the way shops work, and everything is weird. But I got used to it already by now, so it's fine. So I think the more time passes, the more I will get used to that. But it is at first quite something different. And sorry if I don't look too much, but I'm trying to gather my thoughts and get everything into one. But so far, I have to say, people are super nice. I like the big thing, because it's easy to go around, because you have so much space and you don't really have to check traffic so much. At least in the towns, it was a little bit already. It's like in Cincinnati and Louisville, it was already a little bit more traffic and so. But here in this small town, there is not a whole lot of traffic, because it feels for me like you have. It says on Google, I think like 35,000 people live here, but it feels like a town that is made for 200,000 people. So you have so much kind of wasted space, but it has something to it. The fast food, like I said, didn't quite blow me away. The only great things that I found better than, for example, what I've seen in Germany, for example, definitely Papa John's, great pizza, White Castle I liked a lot, and Five Guys, if it wouldn't have been so expensive. The rest didn't quite blow me away just yet, but I have a lot more to check. And I'm later on actually going something to eat later, but it's actually not late yet. It's like, it should be like a little bit over 10 a.m. I have to get my laundry done. But so far, yep, I'm actually excited what I will see in the upcoming 3 weeks. So work, so far, I obviously I did not work that much, because I had to learn a lot of things, because it's a similar job that I do, but now here everything is, since, not want to talk about what it is, but it's a lot more manual work, labor, and so on, and it's a lot less because of us. I mean a lot less in terms of amounts of pieces that I do for a specific reason. But it's interesting. I learn a lot. People are super nice, had some nice conversations. Also the boss of this department seems very nice. People, I have to say, I don't get what people mean. Obviously some of the politeness or the happiness or the niceness, that's not a word. And if it isn't, and if it is, it would be weirder. Could be fake, but if it is, it seems very genuine. That's the important thing, because I would rather have a believable fake niceness than what I have in Germany, which is this coldness where people don't really greet each other until they unless they know each other, but on the streets nowhere. Because obviously in the hotel and everything at the work, I greet everyone and they all greet back. In Germany, if you would greet someone you don't know, they would just look weirdly at you, and everything is very cold. And I prefer this actually. I'm not quite sure. Obviously, I'm just basing this on a week, but yeah. So what's the point of this video? There was no point. This was just more of a life sign that I'm still there. I'm not actually quite sure what will turn out once I'm back, because in this week, obviously, since I had so much activities going on and a lot less, since I work still 8 hours, actually sometimes a little bit more, and then had the little limited time that I used to go around, I didn't really think much about YouTube itself. What I did, for example, since I'm here in the US, I contacted Monoprice if they will send me some headphones or such, and I will maybe buy some as well. I actually wanted to almost buy a Google Pixel Book because it's on sale here for $750, where it was like 1,000, and it seems like a compelling device. I've seen it and it looked really nice. But talking about that whole thing being in the US, one big benefit of this is actually that once I was here and the first time I opened YouTube, or not actually the first time, but after a day or two, I got a pop-up if I want to apply to YouTube Red, which I can't do in the US, which is not a thing. I know the new YouTube Premium will get that soon, but it's still not available in the US and in Germany. So I definitely took the chance for one test month. Now I have YouTube Red, and I have to say, once this comes to Germany, but actually now I think I've actually applied to it, because yeah, I gave them my PayPal money and so on. First month is free, but I will definitely keep doing it. The weird thing is though, since I'm in the US, but kind of something about my phone still seems to be German, I can't actually download the YouTube Music app. But it's fine, because I don't think I would have used it. But the benefits, first of all, I have Google Play Music, which is great, and therefore I will actually unsubscribe from my Spotify account and just use Google Play Music, because it's pretty much just as good. It's not quite as available on other devices, but that's fine for me. But the thing is that I like so much. I can start a video, I have no annoying ads anymore. The video plays even if I turn off the phone. But also one thing that I even didn't know, because I knew if I just turn off the screen, I will be still able to listen to the video. But there are actually a few more things, and I would actually maybe have to make a separate video, because I don't think many people know this, and I did not ever hear this before. You have moving thumbnails, or actually a playing video. If you just scroll through your timeline and pause, the video on top, the one that is the furthest on top, actually plays silently, and you can watch it. If you quickly just want to see what this video is about, you don't have to go into the video, and if you go, it starts from that place where you stopped watching the preview. So that's a handy thing. Obviously, this video also plays though if you, for example, go out of YouTube, go into your browser, go into anything else, and it just keeps playing. So so many times I watched a video and I just wanted to maybe check a site or do something, but the video stopped. It plays still with the sound in the background. That is super handy. I liked it a lot. No ads, YouTube Music, Google Play Music. So for $10, I will absolutely stick with this. I like it a lot. So that was one benefit of being in the US so far right now. And I actually think that for the half an hour that I've talked, I did not give you so much information. But does it really matter? Yeah, my face is actually still recovering, because since I don't have a proper routine here for I think like 2 or 3 days, I forgot the moisturizing cream for my face, which I need, because if I don't use it for a day, I get these weird bubbles here even more. So I always get them and they never go away, but my skin looks very kind of kaput, I would say. No, but yeah, don't want to stretch this any further. I hope you still will stick with the channel. I will be back soon. Not quite sure in what exact way yet, because I said I will slow down with a few things. There will definitely less reviews and videos, but maybe therefore better ones, and we with a happy attitude. But here I won't make much. I will maybe give you a few more update vlogs or something like that if you want to, if the response is there. But so far, this would have been pretty much it. Hope you enjoyed it. Bye. Let's actually stop at 30.